It's so fly day, Chinatown. Mayonato no hito no niri. It's so fly day, Chinatown. Haje keru nero sai. That is right, troopers and grinders. We are in the UFC are going to the Las Vegas of Asia in Macau, the region of China. China, I've been there. Taking away our jobs. Terrible for this country. And so I'm having Dana go in there just to do a little bit of spying on my behalf. And it's going to be great. It's going to be great, guys. And Hank the Tank and the Idaho Skatesman will be enjoying said show at 3 p.m. or 2 p.m. 2 a.m. or 3 a.m. his time and midnight my fucking time. So we're going to get put through it, you guys. We got to go with the Idaho Skatesman way of falling asleep midday so that we could have any enjoyment of this card. But it's a great card to watch, Skatesman. That's the horrible part about it. So what do you think about this change in schedule? And is it worth seeing, regardless of the start time?
Yeah, I mean, there's certainly some good fights on the card that are definitely worth watching, like Oezdimir, Ulberg, be a banger.
Cong Wang coming back.
Yeah, Cong Wang, it'll be sick. Or is it Xiao? Do they say it's Xiao?
Some people have said Cong Wang. I think it might be Cong Wang. So we'll go.
It's spelled Cong Wang. So, but yeah, the main event is obviously going to be a banger. So very important for the flyweight division as a whole too. So, and then I feel like the Asian fighters always bring it too.
Yes, unless it's Road to UFC Asian fighters, in which case stay very far away and maybe just go skip the prelims and enjoy.
I feel like those Road to UFC shows are always good. I don't watch all of them, but
I think last year's was actually pretty good because it had a lot of crazy finishes and fun back and forth fights. But there was a period during Road to UFC this year where it was like split decision, majority decision, draw, split decision. It was like, who can lean against the other first and who can reverse the position first. And it was at that point, I was like, dude, I got to stop fucking watching this, dude. This is not
just goes to show you those Asian fighters need the Asian rule set to have exciting fights. And I guess really MMA as a whole does.
Yeah. But they don't have the based Ryzen rule set, unfortunately. The true #1 rule set, according to Isha Helwani. But
that's true.
Yeah. So let's just hope that they can muster something, one of the Road to UFC fighters, and maybe actually be a prospect. I'm fingers crossed. Like, how many tournament championships do they have for this show? I swear they have like 5 tournament championships fights.
Well, having it a bunch of different weight classes, right?
Yeah. So it makes sense.
I don't know.
But even beyond
before we break down that, Hank has to get through all his irrelevant locks and underdogs for the weekend.
For you guys.
In promotions nobody cares about.
For our bets, for your bets, it's for your money. That is the reason. It's not for Hank the Tank to stroke his ego come Sunday.
Yeah, it is.
We got a comment from Antoine Willis. Yo, what is up, boys? Clocking in my overnight job. Hope y'all are good. Thank you so much, Antoine Willis. Even if it's for a short period of time. Thanks for hopping into the SkateTank.
Oh yeah.
Hope you guys had a great week. I'm setting an alarm for the fights on Saturday. It's 3 a.m. for us in Atlanta. I know, dude. Rough. Even with my very privileged ass Pacific time, it's still rough for me to watch this card. I agree. The main card is fire. I want to see Cong Wang. She has 2 years in her absolute prime at 32 right now. I know it's exciting, dude. And she's fun to watch on the mic, too. She is so fucking insane and very straightforward that she got Dana White to give her a performance of the night bonus, even after he didn't even watch it live. So Cong Wang is fucking a G. Hey, Sniff, welcome. Is Ferguson fighting again? And should I bet the house on him again, Skatesman?
I don't know how you have any money left after you bet on the house on him last time.
Yeah, you'd have as much money as King's World if you bet on Tony Ferguson every single fight.
And by the way, I told you to put $5 on him.
Ouch.
He was like, he was like a plus 3,000 by sub or something like that.
That's all the money.
$5.
That is true. I mean, that's enough for a Subway sandwich, though, Skatesman. That's very.
Well, they're $6 now.
Fucking bastards, dude. Bastards. It's called a footlong. It has the F at the start. You can't have $6 for a $5 footlong. What's up, boys? That's Sniffing 9 a.m., bro. It's my mom's house this time. Okay, well, he's putting.
All right, well, yeah, bet the house.
He's putting his entire family out of business through his MMA gambling. Fucking disgusting behavior from people in our chat. Speaking of absolutely disgusting, let's talk about the knockouts of a man by the name of Michael Oliveira. PDQ. I got him by round 1 KO. Classic Michael Oliveira.
What is this in? What are you even talking about?
It is in LFA 197. And I'm looking forward to 200 too, because Goosey is going to be fighting on that Minnesota card. But until then, we got another classic Brasilia LFA 197 card. There's death, there's taxes, and there's Michael Oliveira getting a knockout in LFA. This time, he's participating in one of the weirdest scheduled fights to ever read out loud, as both guys are somehow named PQD due to their tenures in the paratroopers brigade of the Brazilian army. And the actual name of Oliveira's opponent is Aldo Pereira.
Look, I said this before. They're just running out of names in Brazil. They just don't have enough.
Yeah, and we want, and some people accuse the Dagestanis of having very close families. Maybe the most Brazilian fight in the history of Brazilian fights, taking place in Brazil, of course. God, I love LFA. With a nickname like Aldo Pereira, you'd think this guy's the underground GOAT in Brazil. But no, he's just a pipsqueak who had a majority draw to some 11-6 schmuck, Andre Ricardo, and had another win in a microscopic regional promotion I've never heard of, which is not unusual. I'm thinking meme round 1 Oliveira knockout, and the legend of the Brazilian military man welterweight continues. Just book him on Contender Series already, Dana, before the paratroopers give him mandatory military service again, like all your damn Korean fighters. You guys saw how John McCarthy said Michael Chandler is creeping into Tony Ferguson territory. He's not creeping into it. He's head kicking his way into Tony Ferguson territory.
Yeah, John McCarthy. I stopped listening to his podcast.
Dumb John McCarthy. More like, who do you guys think is the best fighter on the LFA roster right now? It's a good feeder for the UFC. Cage Warriors is okay too. There was this one guy that No Chill MMA actually had as a prospect who was like its current LFA champion. I forget. I think it was middleweight. And he's like this American wrestler who just absolutely fucking bodied the other guy that he was competing with for the belt. So I think that guy's going to be a scary American wrestler in LFA. So look out for him. Yo. Now let's get to Hank the Tank's underdog for the evening. A man by the name of Jose Augusto. I think Skatesman might just know him because he's had experience in Bellator and PFL. I got
this fucking guy.
I got Augusto by decision. Jose Augusto is a pretty underrated heavyweight. He's beaten some solid names in Bellator like Simon Biong and Jonathan Wilson, and only lost to the best the company had to offer like Anthony Rumble Johnson and Alex Polizzi, who just got a pretty big upset over Carl's Jr. in PFL. He's a solid, technical, and well-rounded fighter, as we've seen with his decision wins over 9-2 and 7-1 guys. Meanwhile, Edevan Santos, whose nicknames literally translate to Toadfoot, has looked like he's got webbed feet against real competition. With Kuniev from Contender Series knocking his ass out 3 years ago, and he's slow as hell as heavyweight. Like, he looked like absolute shit in his most recent Contender Series fight. And then 10-4 and 14-1 heavyweight, destroying him as well. His tentative style, reliant on leg kicks, doesn't translate well against those with actual talent. And I think Jose Augusto still has the talent needed to school this guy. This ain't a rando on the regionals for Santos to smush. He's Jose Augusto, and he's here to kick ass and chew bubblegum. I think Jose Gugu Augusto makes Santos cry like a baby after he dominates the Toadfoot in every aspect of the fight. Ribbit. So there you go. Like the stream. Thank you so much, Antwain Willis. Where you at, Skates? Where you at, Skates?
DFW.
Yeah, but I think this is going to be a fun LFA show just because it's in Brazil. And so the LFA cards that I've seen with the most amount of finishes tend to happen in Brazil because we got crazy-ass Brazilian fighters going at it.
Good to see you, by the way, Dane.
Absolutely. 1 second. There we go. Yes, master. Yes.
Gotta push through these random regional shows for some reason.
I know. Yeah. It is true. It's because I care very much about these predictors' monies. Let me tell you. Also, if we were to do the UFC Macau show alone, this stream would be over in 5 seconds. Let's be honest now. Anyway, then we have Cage Warriors 181 taking place. Wait, I didn't even. I'll say the underdog, but I have. Interesting. Let me share my screen back really quick. Here we go.
He says that his name is pronounced
Antoine.
Antoine.
Not to sound mean or anything, I promise. No problem.
I thought it was Antoine this whole time.
Okay. Gotcha. But I got an underdog for Cage Warriors 181, and it's a shocking one. It's a man by the name of Kenny Lopez against Harry Hardwick. I got him by round 1 KO.
It looks like Jacare.
Yep, and I'll get to that. If this one hits, it's going to be absolute insanity to watch live. You could hear a pin drop if in that Newcastle arena if this one happens. Longtime viewers will remember Kenny Lopez from when Hank the Tank picked him as one of his 14 picks he made for a whole LFA card. Safe to say I'll never do anything like that ever again. However, one of the benefits of making picks for that show was being introduced to Kenny Lopez, known as Liao or Sea Lion, which is a very fitting nickname given his appearance. Almost as fitting as Jacare Souza, the crocodile. And he looks like Jacare as well. Kind of looks like him too. Beyond just his gimmick, Lopez has one-punch power and makes it a fight every time he's in that cage, which makes him even more dangerous to any opponent facing him, whether they be a wrestler, a power puncher, or a reserved, more technical guy. Harry Hardwick, the brother of the famously MMA guru glazed George Hardwick, just recently became Cage Warriors' new featherweight champion. But given that Mr. Andrew Clamp just lost his light heavyweight title to an 11-5 James Webb last week, it seems like the new generation of champions in Cage Warriors is vulnerable, and upsets and title fights are looking more likely. Harry Hardwick is making his first title defense here, just like Clamp, and his main issue so far in the promotion seems to be his chin, as he's been getting cracked early in his fights before coming back later in the fight with more unexpected finishes. But there are also times he's gone to split decisions and draws against fighters of a certain quality. And Lopez is one of those scary guys that presents a serious threat to Hardwick's win streak in the promotion. Some are saying that Hardwick will bounce back like he always does if Lopez hits him with a big shot, but I don't think he gets so lucky this time. I think if he nails Hardwick with a huge shot, he follows up and Harry goes down for good. And even if he does survive the first round, he won't last too much longer against a guy who's always in your face and swinging 100 miles per hour. Hardwick's moniker is Harry Houdini, but he's not going to make an escape this time. No invisibility cloak for you this time, Potter. Lopez rips him to the body and puts him down for good, just like the real Harry Houdini. Trust! Again, listen for a pin to drop, guys. It's coming. Man, that was a full-on Israel Adesanya breakdown of that fight. Hey, I'm going to freeze you like Elsa. Trust.
Yeah, like we haven't heard that joke 1,000 times on this podcast.
Wait a minute. Oh, there's a reason why I didn't have my fucking underdog. Oh, wait, I didn't have my lock for the show. It fucking canceled. So,
Classic.
Well, whatever. Let's get to the next promotion, shall we?
Another one?
Yeah. There's Brave and then there's Aries.
Oh my god. All right.
We're in this one for the long haul, troopers and grinders, but don't worry. We're simulating what the experience is going to be like at UFC Macau. It's just late at night, having to undergo it for a very long time.
We're just prepping you.
We're prepping you for this kind of boredom. Oh no. Let's get to Hank the Tank's next lock and his new beat poetry session that he's got filmed.
What live. Is this? What show is this?
This is Brave.
So you don't even know.
This is Brave. It's Brave. I know it. It's Brave. Right. Well, you'll know this guy. You see this guy on the left, Skatesman?
I don't know who that is.
This is a guy by the name of Yusuf Boanem. And I believe he was a Glory.
Who the hell is that?
He's a Glory kickboxer.
Good for him.
Okay, I see. I have him by a round 1 knockout. Classic Brave CF layup. European kickboxer going to an MMA promotion and getting a massive layup in a guy who can't take the fight to the ground because he's a striker only, brother. When will they learn, Skatesman? To be fair, so is this Yusuf guy. And I know Skatesman knows him from Glory. That age is like milk. So he must be pissed about this guy going to Brave of all places. But he's still deadly on the feet enough to crush cans. And this guy's your standard can. Watch him get accepted for Contender Series next year because he's a kickboxer. Anyway, my underdog for the evening is a man by the name of Shakina Noso Pedro in the main event. I have him by decision. This may appear like Brave CF is trying to put Muslim Danaev over against an easy opponent, and it would figure given his first name. But people forget, man. Shakina Noso Pedro's last 4 fights have been dedicated to exposing prospects from a 10-2 to 5-0 to a man by the name of Ibrahima Mane in PFL Europe, who was a big French prospect. Bullshit split decision that clearly should have gone Mr. Nozo's way. And then he beat a 4-0 Ali Isaju in Brave. Whether or not Ali is in fact a Jew, it remains to be seen.
His name is Ali Isaju.
Yes. And that's a terrible thing when your name is Ali, but he's like, no. Say your full name. Ali is a Jew. Ali is a Jew.
That guy wouldn't have lasted long in the Holocaust.
Jesus Christ almighty. Let me check last name. Oh, right line. Not right line. He's fighting out of Austria, so it kind of checks out.
No, I swear I'm not.
Oh my God.
Right line.
That Chiquita's smoking, guys. The company don't want him to smoke. And that's going to keep being the case against Danaev, who's KOing schmucks and going to decisions with 10-5 opponents. If he doesn't knock out Chiquina in the first round, look out. This welterweight from the Netherlands is putting a butt whooping on another hype job. So I'm voting for Pedro. And you should too. God, just vote for Pedro, man. So I'm going with Pedro. God. And that's Brave CF. What a very interesting card we got from Brave. Every once in a while, dude, with these promotions, they have, I swear, they sign meme names on purpose so that we can get them over through making fun of them. Hey, Agent Feel is finally back. How's it going, Agent Feel?
What's up, bro? That reminds me of this one show, like Chevello was, or it was like a Ryzen show where Chevello was commentating, and there was a guy named Minus, and he kept making like my anus puns.
Hey, that's nice. I mean, if you can't beat them, join them. You know, laugh at the bullies, and then they'll be the ones who laugh last. Anyway, let's read some more comments before we get on to the next team. Yo, if you guys took a look at Muslim's most recent fight, Bogdan Grad was the referee. He was the referee for that fight? Is this fucking wrestling? I'm pretty sure he won a contract on Dana White's Contender Series this year. He did, against a guy whose last name was Aswell. Is a Jew and Aswell. All the sentence names are from Brave CF, apparently. That's very interesting. I want to see Hardwick on Dana White's Contender Series next season. You might, and then they'll put him against an undefeated, Dagestani grappler, just like they did George Hardwick, and make sure the Hardwick brothers never get into the UFC. A man named Baton, God, these names, is in the SkateTank MMA chat. Will you ban him if he types? You know who, Hank? Oh yes,
Hank's just making enemies all over the internet these days.
No, it's just one, but he's the Dark Lord and the man who must not be named. He takes on many forms and accounts, Skatesman. But let's get to Hank's last lock and underdog for.
Thank God, 20 minutes in, we're still on these regional shows.
Yes, we're having the Troopers and Grinders delicious watch hours, slowly but surely. But let's look at Hank the Tank's big underdog first of all. But got a man by the name of Getan Tambo, and I'm picking him by round 2 KO. Oh,
pretty sure it's Dambo.
Getan, is it Dambo or Dombo?
You said Tombo.
Oh, I meant Dombo.
Tomato.
Tomato to Dumbo. That's a great movie from Disney from 1941. Anyway, oh, how the turntables. I fully discounted Gaetan Dambo against Falou Diop. And wouldn't you know it, he got it done in easy, brutal fashion. Now I trust him to pull off the upset again against Wissame Akmouk, who got smothered by a 7-0 fighter and then won a hard-fought decision with a 3-0 fighter.
Be right back.
Thank you. I think Dombo's the finisher of the two of them, and he's gotten as many recent submissions as Akhmuk as well. So I think he uses his equal, if not better, grappling skills to stuff Akhmuk's takedowns and knock his ass out. His nickname is Kiru, after a French movie about a boy who saves his village from a witch. And he might just save a crappy Ares card as well by knocking out a Wasame. Trust! So that is the big underdog I've got. Check cord, Hank. I will check cord. A man by the name of Baton. But let's go to. Well, now I know who's typing right now. But let's look at Hank's lock for the event. A man by the name of Virgil Ogden. I have him by. He's the current middleweight champion in Ares. Who's typing, by the way? I have him by round 2 submission. Virgil Ogden is your current Ares middleweight champion and has beaten some solid names on his way to the top, including a 4-0 and 2-0 guy in Ares, along with experienced Ares vet Enrique Shigemoto. He has been dominant on the ground and racked up quite the submission streak as well. His opponent, Moacir Roca, has faced a way lower caliber of competition, beating 8-5 and 14-9 noobs, and his loss is coming to Carlos Prates in his only fight in LFA, and a man by the name of Charles Oliveira. No, not that Charles Oliveira. Some random ass bearded middleweight Charles Oliveira.
They don't get a lot of names in Brazil.
Oh my God. He's just not on the same level as Ogden at this stage of his career. And though he hasn't been submitted in a while, and Virgil isn't all that technical on the feet, he is still championship material, and I think he finds a way to get Roca down and beat him up. Maybe finding a rear naked choke with Roca on his stomach. So there you go. God, and I thought the Dagestani families were bad at having original names. Brazil is just fucking dog shit. So now I've learned.
I mean, at least it's like a religious thing, right?
Mm-hmm. Right.
Muhammad. But like in Brazil, it's just like, let's name him Aldo fucking
Pereira
Silva.
Mm-hmm. And his first name has to be Charles for some reason, because some fucking British royalty or something. But yeah, it's crazy, man, and it comes at a lot of the fighters' expense when you are a guy who's commenting MMA, and that's just the way it is. But Charles White is in the oh God, we got all the peanut gallery. Hank the Tank, you are my hero. I see.
It's a weird hero to have.
That is true. I'm nobody's hero, kid. Nobody's hero. Come back, Shane. Yo,
that's
Charles
Kobe
White.
Wiggle.
Have we met? No, but me and Kobe Wiggle have met on numerous occasions. He's a dear lifelong friend of mine, let me tell you. But let's get to what everybody has been waiting for from SkateTank MMA for this podcast. We have UFC Macau, 13 fights in the Macau region of China, stacked to the brim. So let's go over the first fight. We have, thank God, not a road to UFC final to start off this thing. We have actually a pretty well-booked matchup between Maheshate, Hayisaer, and
just Maheshate.
And Nikolas Motta. So this is an interesting clash of styles. What's your initial reaction to this fight?
So I always get Nikolas Motta and gosh, who's the other guy that just knocked out Neil Magny? The welterweight.
Oh no, this guy Motta, he knocked out
no, I know, but I'm saying I always get him and
Song Kanan mixed up.
No, the guy who just knocked out Neil Magny before Prates did. Another Brazilian dude. I always get them mixed up.
Mr. Michael Morales.
Yes. So Nikolas Motta was like a longtime LFA guy. I think he even may have like won their LFA championship. Yeah, the thing about both these guys is they like look really bad, and then like all of a sudden they'll just like have a good performance. So really kind of a toss up here for me. I'm gonna go Nikolas Motta, coming off of a nice knockout, while Maheshate is coming off of a split decision win against Gabriel Benitez, who is a longtime featherweight, moving up to lightweight. To me, that's not impressive whatsoever. So yeah, just based off of that, even though Maheshate is like the slight favorite, gonna have to go with Nikolas Motta here. I'll probably pick him by decision.
I think that is a very wise pick for you to make, Skatesman. I have Nikolas Motta by first round knockout. I wanted to pick Maheshate here for too long, honestly. It got in the way of picking the rest of this freaking card. But I hesitated. I refused to set it in stone or explain myself because I knew that if this dude is getting a split decision win against Gabriel Benitez and getting knocked out by Slava Claus, of all people, Nikolas Motta, as bad as he is as the fight goes on, will catch him with a shot in the first round that puts him out. I think Tom Nolan's way more talented and physically advantageous than Maheshate, and Motta just laid him out flat. If Maheshate does even any of that sloppy shit he was throwing in the Benitez fight, he's going to get chinned early in the fight, pure and simple. So I'm going with my gut and picking Motta to get another vintage knockout win via his iron fists against Maheshate. And then we got our second fight. And thankfully, it is also not Road to UFC, although one of the Road to UFC fighters is taking part. We have Long Xiao against Quang Lei, who was supposed to face Lonair Kavanagh on the first week of Dana White's Contender Series, but then he stepped in on short notice against Chris Gutierrez and had a close fight with him. So, and Xiao just barely lost a final against I think his name was Chung Ho Lee. Yes, I picked that fight correctly. But who you got for this one, Skatesman?
Well, Quang Lee is the only one that I know.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, he went to a decision with Chris Gutierrez on short notice. Chris Gutierrez, I saw him in Denver at the One Championship fights, and I was really drunk, and I was like, "Are you Gabriel Benitez?"
Yeah,
that was funny,
brother.
But I don't know. Quang Lee performed ably in that fight. And Long Xiao, I don't know who this guy is, but just kind of browsing through his records, getting a lot of split decisions and majority decisions. Doesn't mean that he's terrible. He's still winning fights, but probably have to go with Quang Lee to get this one done. Probably by decision. Just going the safe route since I don't really know him.
Wait, who did you pick?
Quang Lee.
All right. I have Xiao Long by decision. This one sort of hurts to make. I like Quang Lee. He has a lot of explosive power and looked great in LFA, along with having a solid performance on short notice against Chris Gutierrez, but he's only had 9 fights. Xiao Long has 35, and he's 7 years younger than Quang Lee. Unfortunately, I think his grappling is just way too developed at this stage, especially over so many tryout fights for the UFC, to get neutralized by Lei, who's primarily a striker. I know that Chang Ho Lee was able to eke out a split decision win against him, and I picked Ho Lei to win, but that fight easily could have been scored Xiao Long's way as well. I was not confident going into that split decision. Long's grappling is just tough to handle, and I don't think Lei has the acquired counter grappling to make this simply a war on the feet. I think Long pressures and gets him down a few times for the decision win. He can't finish, so that's the only option. Classic Long fight, literally. Bang, you're done, Quang. So there we go. I got...
gonna be a long night.
Yeah, especially when it's fucking 12 or 3 in the morning.
Wake MMA says he got yawn via bigger ding dong. All right,
yeah, he stole it from Song.
Antoine talking about the next fight. We got 2 undefeated fighters matched up. They rarely match them up. Yeah. Kind of interesting.
Hey,
seems like they're bringing in this guy just to lose to Loner Kavanagh. What is up, Pulse? Good to see you, man.
But yeah, we have got Lonair Kavanagh taking on Jose Ochoa. It's interesting that this fight is booked because Lonair Kavanagh has, he was born in and trains out of England, but he's mixed because his mom is from, I believe his mom is from China. And so he actually still proudly hoists up the Chinese flag. So that's the reason why he's still being booked on this card. And it'll be interesting what his reaction is from the crowd for that. But I think they're definitely having a treat in getting Lonair Kavanagh on this card. But who are you picking in this? What I would think would be a layup fight, personally.
Yeah, going Lonair Kavanagh. I don't think that's surprising to anyone. Dude's got really good kickboxing. They did say on the Dana White Contender Series broadcast that he's a 5-time K1 champion. which is total bullshit. But at the same time, I think that they just call like any kickboxing, like amateur or otherwise, they call it K1. So maybe he's like an amateur kickboxing champion.
Right.
But yeah, 5 times is weird. It means he'd have to lose 4 times to become a 5-time champion. Super weird that they would even say that. But yeah, I'm going Loner Kavanagh. Obviously, he got a knockout on Contender Series, and he looked really good. Like slept a guy. I don't know who this Jose Ochoa guy is, but he's getting finishes by sub, by knockout. So he seems like a dangerous guy.
Yes.
And nonetheless, in LFA, which is obviously a really credible organization. So I don't know if Loner Kavanagh goes in there and just like sleeps this guy, but I'm gonna have faith in him. I'm gonna pick him by 2nd round knockout. But I wouldn't be surprised. I think decision is obviously the safer pick here.
Yeah. But I think you'd be right to pick round 2 knockout because I have that exactly. I have Loner Kavanagh by round 2 knockout. It's crazy that this is Loner's debut fight. The guy he's facing, Jose Ochoa, is actually 8-0 compared to his 7-0 record. If you count a no contest fight, he was clearly winning. And he's only gotten finishes so far with 7 knockouts and 1 submission. This is not a layup in the slightest for Kavanagh, but the UFC must have a lot of faith in him if they're giving him a tough flyweight right out of the gate. And you know what? I do too. He's small, which means that he's pretty damn quick, Loner. He has power in his mitts and has even improved in his grappling in recent fights. He's already a loner in the flyweight division in terms of finishing ability. And while his opponent is a threat in the cage as well, I don't think he's as complete or quick a fighter as Kavanagh. No way, Jose. So I think the more accomplished Kavanagh times a strike right down the pipe and eventually wobbles Ochoa on the feet, guys. And the undefeated prospect kisses the canvas for the first time in his career. Another reason for this being his nickname is based off a Studio Ghibli character, which has too much weeb energy for me to think he's more deadly in the cage than Kavanagh. Unless he's grown a boob or anime runs, then look out. Watch out. So
what Studio Ghibli character or movie?
Oh God, I think it was Howl's Moving Castle.
See, only a wee would know that. Gotcha. Exposed.
But I just guessed, okay?
And we have the Akatsuki as our background. So what does that say?
We're both weeps in our own special ways. But wait, I got to look up this guy's nickname because I actually forgot it. Yeah, Jose Ochoa. His name is Calzifer, and he was this fireball character. And
where it says we got Woody talking to Amir Al-Bazi before GTA 6. I don't know what you're talking about.
I'm Woody and you're Amir. That's the joke. Here's a steak in my boot.
Am I Amir Al-Bazi?
You don't look like Amir Al-Bazi, to be honest.
I thought it was Benoit. You guys got to get your nicknames right. What's up, Captain Rafuko? Good to see you. Charles White says he's got Hernandez 2nd round TKO. I don't know who the fook you are, but FanDuel needs to put the main event up so I can bet Vicky. Yeah, sometimes they lack really hard on these like foreign like shows, especially in China.
Fuck, it is Howl's Moving Castle. Fuck, I got it right on the mark. God damn it.
That's funny. Yeah, sometimes like sports betting sites are weird with events. They'll put it up the day of, though, probably. But, good to see you, though, Chris.
Let's get to our next fight. Oh, yeah, it is good to see you, Chris Tussin. Welcome to the SkateTank Army.
Tussin, like Robotussin.
Our next fight is between the big crafty vet, Carlos Hernandez, and a man by the name of Jesus Christ, Nyamjargal Tumendemberel.
His nickname is Art of Knockout.
Yeah, and he does nothing but get submissions.
That's hilarious. So Carlos Hernandez, like another guy, just like up and down in the UFC. He's 9-4. Beating Dennis Bondar, though, pretty good, but it was a technical decision, so weird. His last real win was 2 years and 8 months ago to Victor Altamirano, and it was a split decision. Lost to Alan Nascimento. Not a bad loss. Tetsuo Taira got KO'd by him, which is hilarious. And then Ray Saruya. So this kind of tells me that he's going to have a big grappling disadvantage. And it looks like this Art of Knockout guy likes to do some submissions and probably some ground game comes in with that. Also, he is from he's from Mongolia. So the Mongolian fighters, you never really know. Like, it's not a really developed region of the world for MMA. So that's another thing that makes picking this fight tough. Overall, I think this was more about fading Carlos Hernandez. And I'm going to go with the Mongolian here by decision.
All right, respectable from the Skatesman. I'm actually going to finally put some faith in Carlos Hernandez. I'm going to go with Carlos by decision, siding with Carlos Hernandez to pull off an upset in a UFC fight, because I don't think Nyamjargal Tumendemberel is on the same level as Tatsuro Taira or Ray Saruya, two of the biggest Japanese MMA prospects. This dude, Nyamjargal, has been getting a lot of submissions, yet he calls himself knockout artist. Yeah, I don't trust you to do what you intend to do in this fight, brother. He got a split decision win with a 9-4 guy, and before that beat a 15-10 guy. I don't think these schmucks in road to UFC are on Carlos Hernandez's level, at least not experience-wise or in terms of the ability to survive the onslaught of young prospects. Carlos can actually do that, especially since Nyamjargal specializes in getting submissions out of nowhere rather than just dominating on the ground, which Saruya managed to do on Hernandez. I think Carlos manages to go all 3 rounds, do some good work on the feet, and do what that 9-4 guy couldn't, and actually get himself and give the guy a unanimous decision loss. Just look at how emotional he is in his Tapology profile picture, Hernandez. He's crying right there. They can't cut this man now. God, what is it with the UFC trying to feed this guy to the entirety of Asian MMA? It's crazy.
And like I said, it's more about, for me, just like the last win he got, like legit win, was like 2 years, 8 months ago, almost 3 years at this point. So, yeah, I mean, it'd be nice to see him get it. I mean, flyweight needs new guys too, though, right? Like, so it would be nice to see the Mongolian win, but
yeah,
I really don't know what's going to happen here.
I have no idea what's going to happen either. It's a pick'em fight. I got Hernandez by second round TKO. Not bad.
I already read that.
Should be a good fight. Victor Altama whatever sucks. Ask. I'll take the Asian feller. Usually. Ass. Super fair. I already like your channel. Well, thank you very much.
Oh yeah, thank you, Chris.
We appreciate it. We then finally get.
Why'd you say it like that? Well, thank you very much.
Well, thank you. Isn't that special? Welcome to the Church Ladies Church Chat. Our next fight is Xiaocan Feng versus Ming. We finally get to a Road to UFC tournament final on the card. And look out, guys. It's going to be nothing but that for the next 4 fights. So strap in.
So, yeah, this is a strawweight tournament final. I don't know either of these ladies. One's got a better record than the other. That's pretty much all I know. Looking through some of their records, Feng, again, decision, knockout, submission, decision, KO in her last 5. On the other side, she has decision, rear naked choke, decision, and a loss by decision. So it looks like Fang's going to try to finish the fight more than likely, and she is going to try to go to decision. So I think, just with that being said, you probably want to lean Feng. I'll probably do the same. I'll probably pick her by decision.
Not bad.
Also, she's quite a bit younger by 8 years.
That is true as well. Yeah. I think she has every single advantage you could possibly have in this fight. But I am going with Skatesman's way, and I'm picking Feng by decision. This one's kind of a no-brainer. Xiaocan Feng is way bigger than Ming and has a longer reach advantage than her. She's a beast on the ground and is easily the finisher of the two of these women. At least that's what he said. Brutal submissions and vicious ground and pound wins. Xiaocan is not a strawweight you want to mess around with in that cage, because she will put you away. Ming Dr. Shi is more surgical in the cage, slowly picking apart her opponents with their more technical ability. And yet she's cut it pretty close with that approach, almost losing to her last opponent and being given a split decision win. I think Xiaocan shows Dr. Split what someone with a killer instinct can do, and beats her up for most of this fight with her physical advantages and greater power as well for a unanimous decision win. Feng's showing her fangs in her home country of China and making it known to the UFC why she got here in the first place. So first tournament final win is going to be from Feng. in one of many fucking tournament championship fights on this card. It's fitting. It makes sense to do it, but that doesn't mean I have to like it.
So this one will be a flyweight tournament championship. You got Kiru Sahota versus Dong Hoon Choi. No, not Ho Choi. Dong Hoon Choi.
Distant cousin, twice removed.
Look, I don't know these guys, but Dong Hoon Choi has a knockout by crescent kick. Fucking sick. Yeah. So yeah, badass. I'm gonna go with the younger guy. It says he's from Japan, but then it says he's Korean. So maybe he's fighting on the Japanese scene. Really confusing there. Yeah. But I'll go Dong Hoon Choi.
Another case of parents might be Korean.
I'll go Dong Hoon Choi by knockout. Second round. You know it, baby. Let's go.
Oh my God, a finish in a road to UFC fight. I can't believe it. I'm going with Dong Hoon Choi. Actually, you know what? I'm going with Actually, you know what? I already lost to Skatesman. I already lost to Skatesman this year. I'll just go with him by decision. No need to be petty this time around, guys. This is a battle of the uninteresting mid here, guys. Neither of these men are going very far, as Skatesman is sure to let you know. They're going to split decisions with mediocre Asian prospects. They haven't faced competition outside their own region or promotions, and will likely get chinned on the main roster no matter who wins this. That being said, I have more confidence in Dong Hoon Choi. First of all, because his name reminds me of Ho Choi, the future featherweight GOAT, right next to Korean Zombie if they weren't stunted by mandatory South Korean military service that ruined the man's groove. They threw
Doesn't Ho Choi doesn't he fight in bantamweight, not flyweight?
He fights in featherweight.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, because he had that fight with Cub Swanson, who's a featherweight. But Skatesman, you threw off my groove. I'm sorry, sir, but you've thrown off the Emperor's groove.
I mean, you're just reading off a note, so.
Second of all, I think that Hoon Choi has fought better competition with better records going into this fight than Kiru Sahota, who has never even fought in Asia. What was he doing in Road to UFC in the first place? Maybe some backstage politics or something. Either way, maybe it's the name. It's got to be the name. Either way, he's only finished cans and hasn't looked too impressive in his tournament fights that went to a decision. I think Hoon Choi is more prepared for a tournament final than him, and an actual prospect from Asia will win the Road to UFC tournament championship. Buzz off, Brit. So there you go, going with Hoon Choi. And then we have yet another. Wait, hold on. Is this the last one? Yes. Finally, we are at the last tournament championship fight of the card between Su Young-yu and Balgyn Genesuli.
So yeah, the Su Young-yu, he's 13-3, 28, 5'6". What is this in? Oh, this is a bantamweight one. Genesuli, I think I've heard of this guy before. He's 28, 5'9", 19-5-0. Looking through his last 5, got submission, decision. Fuck.
Yay!
And the other guy has decision, draw. Oh, he kicked a guy in the nuts. Loss by KO and a win by KO. God, what a terrible fight. I'll probably just go with the favorite here, which is Genesuli, who I feel like I've heard of before, and I'll pick him by decision.
Yeah. I have, of the predictor videos that I watched going into this fight, into this card, this fight was the one that every single predictor talked about the least. I swear they gave it like 1 minute. So it is.
It looks like we got Isha in here.
City Life Project.
Isha, whoever you're picking for these fights, these Road to UFC fights, that's who I'm picking because I know you actually watched all these fights.
So stoked we get to see an early start. Finally can watch other leagues on Saturday night. Let's fucking go, Hank. Let's fucking go. And Deep starts at 9 p.m. Let's go. So happy to
Damn, that's actually crazy. Deep starting earlier than the UFC.
We are going balls deep, ladies and gentlemen. Balls deep. But my prediction for the fight is I have Genesuli by decision. Yay. There's probably going to be a surprise finish in one of these Road to UFC tournament final fights. Skatesman predicted the last one by finish. But I'm not picking one. I'm not picking one finish on these Road to UFC fights. I don't trust any of these B-League schmucks to get it finished, even if it saved my freaking life. Balgyn Genesuli is taller, lankier, and more powerful than Su Young-yu, who was being called essentially Korean Khabib by the commentary team during his road to UFC. And given that your opponents were stuffing your takedowns and you barely beat them, Khabib might be suing you, Scooby-Doo, Su Young Yu. Anyway, he's primarily a wrestler, or as his nickname self-admits, a practicer of jiu-jitsu. And that's a pretty soy martial art at this stage in MMA. So I trust the big, powerful guy on the feet to thwart the grappling of the literal BJJ soy boy and send him packing from the UFC contention. Koreans not named Zombie or Superboy aren't finding success in mainstream MMA. Skatesman and Hank, no. But anyway, I wish they brought back one-night tournaments like UFC 3 style. Unfortunately,
it'll never happen.
Dana White hates it, and Dustin Poirier is your only supporter there. I like the way you drink that water, boy. I think we got off on the wrong foot, Hank. My name's Charles, but they call me C-Dub. I was just doing my job yesterday when I yelled at you. I see. Clocking in now, Antoine Willis. Clocking in now, but I'll be in and out. I love in and out, personally. Did you guys get to see
Overrated
Road to the Boo? That place is fantastic to its employees. And
dude, it's not even that good.
Animal style, dude. Ding dong.
Dude, okay, how trash are your fries that in order to make them good, you have to put melted cheese over them?
The fries are bad. But the burger is great. I like the shakes too.
I mean, it's fine, but it's not like exceptional.
It's good enough though. And
you know what?
It's cheap as well.
Okay, it is. The price point's good. I think we should do a tier list Tuesday. We rank all fast food establishments. But that's the thing, though, is like it's a fast food place, and it's never gonna beat any like local burger spot like drive-in.
Right.
In-N-Out sucks.
How about this? I tried to move around some local fast food joints in my area, and I can place those on the map as well.
What?
So, like, the smaller franchises that are also around the nation, but like they're that one spot that's like in one spot in the city and they're not anywhere else.
Oh, dude.
You know what I'm saying?
You know what's all over here in the South?
What?
Cane's.
Cane's, dude. I've been to Cane's multiple times,
bro. Cane's slaps.
I will say I like the chicken and the sauce is fantastic. They should bottle their sauce and sell it at the supermarket. But the bread, I'm not as interested in the bread. I don't know. I don't think it goes well with the food personally, but I do like their fries as well. So Cane's is choice. I agree with Skatesman there.
I've never had Cane's till this week. Fucking
good
delicious.
Shit. Dude, my old apartment mate, he'd all be like, dude, Hank, we need to go to Cane's, man. Dude, Cane's is so good, man. He eventually got me to, and I was like, yes, it is fantastic. But then he also literally got a kidney stone at some point from eating too much and drinking too much. I literally had to drive him to the hospital. So don't.
Wow, that's terrible.
Skatesman's way better than my old apartment mate. Korea is better than all. Okay, half glass full, Isha. I
don't know about that.
Glass half full. City life, boo,
city life.
Boo. Dialogue of this show is superior to Guru's. I agree.
Well, to be fair to Guru, he only has like it's just him.
He only has dialogue with himself. He might legitimately be clinically insane because he talks to himself and other people in chat. Skate is so argumentative. Not really. I mean, we've actually been pretty cordial this stream. You should see us in other ones. My issue with Cane's is they have 4 things on the entire menu. So
that was one thing I noticed. Yeah, there's only like a couple things. Well, no, In-N-Out has like a whole hidden menu, right?
Mm-hmm.
Stupid.
That is a plus.
Dude, it's okay. Look, Nightbot Rogue. I'll give you this one. I am being a little argumentative, but you have to also understand I'm from Idaho, and we just recently got an In-N-Out, and like it's the talk of the dude. 4 hours in the drive-through is how long you had to wait, like for like the first 6 months of them being open. Yeah, and to me, it's like, what are you guys doing waiting 4 hours in the drive-through for this mediocre food? Like, yeah, it's not worth waiting 4 hours in line.
Just go to the parking lot and go inside. It'll be a quicker stop than being in the drive-through.
I'm just saying, it's just like,
yeah.
I don't know what all the like people just jerking off for fucking In-N-Out.
Yeah, and the reason why it's in Idaho in the first place is because they had to flee Oakland because it's such a fucking shithole.
Welcome to Oakland, bitch.
Yes, sir. Oakland, Stockton, motherfucker, Stockton. What's the guy's favorite fast food restaurant? I haven't had in a while, but I like Checkers.
See, that's another thing in the South we don't have up north.
But I'll mention my favorite fast food place, actually. It's a place called Nations Cheeseburgers. Best pie and cheesecakes.
All right. You know what the best fast food burger you can get is?
What?
Culver's.
I heard about Culver's. I heard Culver's. The entire menu's great. The entire menu's great.
Hands down.
I'll head to Culver's real soon. Sit and wait. Exactly. Not In-N-Out, but sit and wait. They should name it that. It's no different in Cali. It takes forever. Yep. Things are not well for me here. I'm sorry to hear that, Agent Feel. I hope things do get better. True. I agree it's overrated, but I enjoy stream, and we enjoy having you here, Agent Feel. So thank you for being here.
He's very feel.
He's feeling it in the feels. Culver's is good. That's a great choice. They aren't open late. That's the only flaw. Yeah, well, it makes it more special.
They're based out of Wisconsin. You can't be staying up late in the Midwest.
Brother. But we get to our next fight, finally on the main card. Ozzy Diaz of LFA fame taking on Ming Yang Zhang. Light heavyweight action here. Big boys.
So this is a really interesting fight. Surely to end in a knockout, but also, what's that fight between like Brenson Ribeiro and other guy on the last? Was it the Canada or some fight night? And it was like shit. It was the Canada card. It was a shit fight. So yeah, who knows? Maybe it'll just be like a really boring fight. But Ming Yang Zhang has some wins over some interesting names. Ozzy Diaz, same. He has
Kyle Machado. It was Kyle Machado.
Yes, that's who it was. Super boring fight. The problem with light heavyweight is it's just terrible division. Never really know what to expect. I generally go with the rule of you fade the Chinese fighter. Yeah, this is a tough one to pick, though. You got the like slightly taller Ozzy Diaz, and to me, like the guy with better names on his resume, which would be Zhang. Now he knocked out Tuco Tacos
yes.
in one of his last fights.
Breaking Bad fame.
And Brenson Ribeiro 8 months ago.
Yes.
The same. He is 5-0 in his last 5, all knockouts. On the other end, you have Ozzy Diaz, who got knocked out by Joe Pyfer before he got in the UFC. But he is on a 2-fight win streak, getting knockouts. It's a tough one, man. I'm probably gonna just go with my rule: fade the Chinese fighter. Ozzy Diaz KO, second round.
Nice. I am going with Ming Yang Zhang by round 1 knockout. Ming Yang Big Bang Zhang has power in his 2 fists, and it's gotten him some success in the UFC so far. Wait, did you pick Ozzy Diaz or Ming Yang Zhang?
Ozzy Diaz.
Wow. Nice choice from the Skatesman. And you know what? I'm rooting for Ozzy Diaz in this fight as well because he's from LA.
Did you not just hear what I just said?
What did you say? What did you say at the
end? I said I'm picking Ozzy Diaz, second round knockout.
Yes. But why?
I fade the Chinese.
Oh, okay. Wow. All right. You're letting it be known, Skatesman. Let it be known far and wide.
I mean, seriously, they're coddled. A lot of the fights are like basically fixed over there. I mean, let's be honest.
That is true. But he is a scary guy, as Ming Yang Zhang, and I'll get to why. He's tall, he's fast, and he was able to beat Brenson Ribeiro to the punch, which is hard to do. If you can believe it, Ozzy Diaz has a longer reach and even taller height, but that makes him slower than Zhang. And I feel that Zhang's recent knockouts mean more than Diaz's in MMA, despite him being a very solid light heavyweight regional prospect. I think he still hasn't had enough UFC level competition to be a complete threat to Zhang. And if this is a shootout, I see the dude who knocked out Ribeiro chinning Diaz first, despite the physical differences. So give me the UFC level light heavyweight to win in his home country. This is not a political stream, guys. Not a political stream. Sorry, guys. Hate to burst your bubble there. Have you guys ever had Whataburger or In-N-Out burger? We've had In-N-Out, but I have not had Whataburger yet.
You don't need to. It's fine.
Yeah.
It's fine. It's
all right.
It's edible.
I learned from Penguin Moist Critical about those burger places. Me too, but it's in China, so I think he brings it.
That is the tough part about that.
The need for satisfaction from the home country. Might do something horrible if you don't win in there. Looks like you have a lot on Quang. Nah, I've never tried them. That's why I was curious. In-N-Out is solid, so if you ever go to California, don't go in the drive-thru. Just go inside. Because here's the thing. Here's another thing about In-N-Out. They have free pepperoncinis. Just right there for the taking, dude. They got a lot of free shit that you could just get. I care. Okay.
In-N-Out sucks.
Tell that to your BMI. Jesus Christ, Nightbot Rogue. What did he do to piss you off?
You're so argumentative, Nightbot.
Yeah, boo. Then we got arguably the best fight on the whole card between Volkan Oezdimir and Carlos Ulberg, despite them being the worst UFC weight division according to Idaho Skatesman. This is going to be a banger between two of the heavyweights.
So, at first glance, I mean, obviously, and I'm going to pick Carlos Ulberg to get this done by knockout first round. But either way, this definitely will be Carlos Ulberg's like biggest name and toughest fight, like on paper of his career. I know that Volkan can bring it, but every time he fights like a really high level dude, he gets slept. So I don't know, man. I mean, I think if it the thing is, I feel like if it gets past like the second round, Volkan Oezdimir has enough like veteran tricks that he could pull one out of here.
Happy bet.
But it's interesting when you watch Carlos Ulberg, Volkanovski, or Izzy fight, because they all have that like super bladed stance.
Right.
Stand really far out with their lead hand, and then they generate a lot of power with their backhand. So it's really, I mean, Volkan Oezdimir has to get inside, no diddy, and make this like a scrappy fight. And I don't know, man. I think Carlos Ulberg's just too clean with his kickboxing to let that happen. So give me Carlos Ulberg. Give me him by knockout first round. But maybe Volkan can hang in there and make it scrappy. He's definitely surprised me in his last couple wins. So yeah. But I'm picking Carlos Ulberg
against even against Glass Chin Johnny Walker. So Oezdimir might be the one. What is it? The Ariana Delipsky does Silva of Idaho Skatesman's picks.
True.
Heavyweight. I'm going with Carlos Ulberg by round two knockout, not round one. Carlos Ulberg is City Kickboxing's biggest prospect at the moment. I know that Izzy's a star, but in terms of like hype, he's the biggest, and is an excellent kickboxer with a long enough reach and frame to keep himself safe against big power punchers who are pressure fighters pressuring forward. That's Volkan No Time Oezdimir's whole game, and I think it's going to get him caught if he attempts to enter the pocket with a big punch, only to get countered and put on his ass by Ulberg. Ulberg, being the younger and more snappy light heavyweight, is quicker than Oezdimir, so he'll have to really be smart in the pocket and pick his.
He's only a year younger. Can you believe that?
That is sort of crazy. Like I think with like prospects, sometimes we assume, the prospect is just the younger guy than the other guy. But Oezdimir's, pretty fresh too. He hasn't had too many fights in the UFC, but he's put on good or he started out younger, and so we've gotten to
right.
Point. That's probably it. He'll have to be really smart in the pocket and pick his shots to win. Will Volkan Oezdimir, whereas Ulberg does that already. It's his specialty. He's a sniper. I think Ulberg is good enough to put up a good effort and keep himself safe in round one, but then somewhere during round two will get chinned during an exchange. Ulberg. And also I want to mention that this guy couldn't knock out Ilya Pateria immediately, so I'm not trusting him to knock out Volkan right away. So
that's a good point. That definitely is a factor, but I also feel like I don't know. Ihor Pateria is like getting. It's so. Why is this guy in the UFC still? That's a whole nother stream.
Volkan?
No, Ihor.
Yeah, I think he's one of those guys that is used as like a jobber for the prospects to just get an easy layup at this point, because they need some of those still, just to be an easy layup. It happens. There are certainly guys who have been around longer than they should. Either that or they got dirt on one of the bookers. They got dirt on Mick Maynard.
And it's weird that I forget. I feel like Volkan's been getting chinned a lot, but he hasn't gotten chinned in like 3 years. So
that is true, and this is why this is a good fight with a lot of unpredictability to it. But
I think I'm still going to go with Ulberg by knockout first round.
Yeah. I like Ulberg here, but Oezdimir has never been finished in round 1, so I think it goes to the second at least. Good pick from Chris Tussin. Yeah, Ihor sucks. Or as I've called him on occasion, Eeyore from Winnie the Pooh. He's just a slow. Little bro talking shit for no reason. Yeah, I don't know why you're doing that, Nightbot. Keep it up, man. Might just have to time you out. Keep on being a bad boy.
Don't time him out.
We got our next matchup. I believe this is after the opener between Cong Wang and Gabriela Fernandez.
She's so dope, dude. I love Cong Wang so much.
Me too. And I'm glad that I called her getting a knockout in her first fight. I'm going to wear that as a badge of honor.
Just feed the ego, Hank. Take a big old bite of ego soup.
It's expanding. I'm becoming a brainiac slowly but surely.
So Cong Wang, 32 from China, has a win over Valentina Shevchenko in kickboxing. Super interesting prospect coming up, knocking out Victoria Leonardo in her last fight. That doesn't tell us exactly how good she is, though, necessarily. Gabriela Fernandez, another fighter that is not very good. She does have a guillotine on an LFA. That was her last finish 2 years ago. I don't know. I don't know what to do with this one. I'm going to go tentatively with Cong Wang by decision. She's an overwhelming favorite in this fight.
Yeah.
But just not knowing enough about her, she does have 2 finishes recently, but the last 3 fights on her record did go to decision. So yeah, give me Cong Wang, obviously, to get the win. As far as the method, I'm not too sure about, but definitely a lock.
Yeah, I think she's a lock as well. She's got a lot of hype, and I think she's absolutely going to deliver in her home country as well. And she's just sick, dude. She's got a lot of power in the fists. I'm going with her by round 2 knockout. Another fight, another women's MMA knockout for the Joker. Now, I know Gabriela Fernandez is a tough fighter and went tit for tat with Carly Judice. But Carly Judice is the kind of fighter who has back and forth wars, but she doesn't get knockouts. Cong Wang does. Fernandez lost to Jasmine Jasuda Vicious and some rando named Teresa Bleda, both by decision, to be fair. But Wang's a kickboxer who beat the women's flyweight goat, Valentina Shevchenko, in kickboxing years ago. So she'll be ready for whatever Gabby has in store for her on the feet. And then because I respect the threat and toughness of Fernandez a little, I think the knockout comes midway into the fight. So round 2 KO, another big finish for the Wang gang. Wee! Wee! You know what they say about fortune cookies. Be careful what you wish for, man. And don't be sad, Fernandez, because what doesn't kill you simply makes you stranger. So going with the Joker. And then feature fight coming up. My favorite quality of Skatesman is being argumentative. Nice.
At least somebody appreciates it. So yeah, Song Kanong versus Muslim Salikov, 2 fighters that are not very good at all.
No.
If this was 3 years ago, I'd pick Muslim Salikov to get this done. No problem. The problem is he's 40 now. Every time Muslim fights, I like to bring up the fact that he was the first foreigner to win a Sanda, Wushu Sanda. It's kind of like a synonym, but it is different. But yeah, like a Sanda tournament inside of China. So he is a legend for that. But he's 40 and he's washed. The biggest thing is, like, if he was, what, you don't think he's washed?
Based on his last fight, he still shows some talent there, in my opinion.
So I think he's totally washed. He did get a win over Santiago Ponzinibbio by split decision, who is also completely washed at this point. The thing about Muslim is, in the first round, it's very dangerous. He still throws all the spinning stuff. Super good technical kickboxing. by the second and third round, he's going to slow down significantly. Does not have the cardio anymore to really put it on somebody for 3 rounds. Song Kanong, on the other hand, just not a good MMA fighter, but an MMA fighter nonetheless. He's a little more well-rounded than I think Salikov is.
Yeah. He still cracked the pea head of Ian Gary, so you got to have respect for that.
He is. He dropped him in that weird stretch where Ian Gary was getting dropped in his fights, but still getting the wins. So he's beat Ronaldo Bedoya, lost to Kevin Jousset, went to decision with fucking Ricky Glenn. What a hard fight to pick. I feel like Muslim Salikov probably can win the first round. Song Kanong, due to Muslim Salikov not having good cardio, will win the third. It's all about that second round. I do believe that even though Song Kanong is like more of the MMA fighter here, it will stay on the feet. I think there is a case to be made that like against any higher level fighter, Salikov probably gets knocked out, as we saw with Randy Brown. And I don't know, man. I think that Muslim Salikov wins the decision here. But I don't know. It'll be close.
Did you just say you're picking Salikov by decision?
Yeah.
All right. Good pick from the Skatesman at the end of the day. I'm picking Salikov by decision as well. Song Kanong got wobbled by washed as laundry Ricky Glenn on the feet. I'm never picking him again to win a fight, and that includes against 40-plus-year-old Muslim Salikov. He showed great skill and even retained power in his fight with Santiago Ponzinibbio. The old king of Kung Fu might just still have it, and he'll prove it by beating Song Kanong at his own country's martial art of Kung Fu. I don't think Kanon's on the level of Nicolas Dalby or the Leech, Li Jingliang. He's got power in his fists, but now doesn't have the ability to finish Ricky Glenn somehow. So I think this goes to a decision, and I trust Salikov to win it with greater experience, grit, and surprising speed still at his age. Give me Salikov to assassinate the Assassin's UFC career with an embarrassing loss in China. So I'm going with Salikov to get the decision. And Chris Tussin says, I like Salikov here, fading the Chinese, but yeah, he has been disappointing recently. Ricky Glenn is probably the worst fighter in the UFC pound for pound, both genders included. Can't say I disagree with you, Chris. But
he's up there.
Yeah. And then we have our co-main event over 3 rounds between Yan Xiaonan, the power puncher, former number one contender, and Tabitha Ritchie, or Baby Shark.
So this is an interesting fight. Should be good. Tabitha Ritchie was a monster in LFA, finishing girls, submitting girls, looking fantastic. Comes to the UFC, doesn't look the same. Loses some fights up and down, but she's beaten Angela Hill and Tisha Pennington now in her last 2 fights. Pretty good wins against fighters that don't do enough and always go to decision. This is definitely a toughest fight. And on the other side, you have Yan Xiaonan, who kind of got robbed of being the champion. Who is the referee for that fight against Wei Li?
It was and he's respected too. And then he had that horrible ref job, and then I never forgave him after that. What is his name? Song Wei Li versus. He's the guy who stopped the Imavov and Cannonier fight early as well. Yan Xiaonan ref. His name is like on the top of my tongue. Jason Herzog, of all people, had that horrible performance.
To be fair, I think Herzog's been on the decline, like especially this year.
Fully agree.
But yeah, I think this is Yan Xiaonan's fight to lose. She is a minus 200 in this fight.
Yeah.
I think she's got the grappling to hang with Ricci, and obviously the striking is much better than Ricci. Yan Xiaonan will surprise you sometimes, and again, arguably should have been the champ, but credit to Wei Li for hanging in there and winning that fight.
Really tough fight for both of them.
I pick Yan Xiaonan here by decision, but I would not be shocked in like
me neither.
A late 3rd round finish. But yeah, give me Yan Xiaonan decision. Pretty easy one to pick.
Yeah. And a good pick from the Skatesman, an easy one for him too, because I got Yan Xiaonan by decision, just like Skatesman. great minds thinking alike on this card. Nothing would make me more happy than Yan Xiaonan flatlining Baby Shark and leaving her twitching on the canvas. Well, maybe John Jones being flatlined by Tom Aspinall, as well as several other things. But still, that would be up there. However, I'll just have to settle with Xiaonan by dominant unanimous decision win after knocking Ricci down several times. She knocked down the current strawweight champion Zhang Wei Li, who should be on this fucking card, by the way. What the hell is going on with her? Three times in their championship fight at 300.
Does she not have anyone to fight?
I mean, you'd think that she would be able to finally have that super fight with Valentina Shevchenko, since people wanted that fight. Like, you could put a super fight together, but they're just not giving her a fight for some fucking reason. Or she's not wanting to have a fight, which is just, I mean, give an interim championship fight if she's not fighting. Anyway, what the hell is going on with her? We don't know. So she knocked her down 3 times in their fight, and she'll do it again against Baby Shark, who lost to Tisha Pennington, and then had a near miraculous performance against Angela Hill, where suddenly all the flaws in her game were gone. It's just sewed shut. But they'll be open wide again, though, come this fight. As if Yan Xiaonan stuffs her takedowns, and I'm guessing that her takedown defense will have largely improved since the last fight, she'll get battered on the feet and see what real power looks like. They'll be plastered all over Baby Shark meme that's been dead since 2018's face. This one's for Angela Hill, you woman child. But yeah, give me Yan Xiaonan. Jeez. And then we have this one's personal for me, okay, Skatesman. This is and it's strictly business. It's strictly business. But then we have the much anticipated 5-round main event between the former bantamweight champion of the world, Petr Yan, and the former flyweight champion of the world and rising bantamweight contender, Deiveson Figueredo. The fight the fans wanted to see.
Super good fight, super interesting. But honestly, if you look at Deiveson Figueredo's wins coming up, Rob Font, Marlon Vera, and Cody Garbrandt by sub, probably easiest fight of Figgy's career. That's submission over Cody Garbrandt.
Rip.
But the thing is like Cheeto doesn't do enough in fights.
No.
And he loses the decision. I
think he should have lost against the guy that O'Malley. He was beating him up and then an eye poke. Well, he just fought recently.
What's Pedro Munoz?
Pedro Munoz. He lost against Pedro Munoz, in my opinion.
It's the same thing. Pedro Munoz doesn't do enough. But that's kind of what I was getting into, is like Petr Yan, he does that thing where he's willing to drop rounds, and then he kind of has to fight back from a deficit, you know? So that's the one thing that kind of scares me in this fight as far as Petr Yan's chances. It's a tough one, man. I mean, you would think that Yan has the better striking acumen. And he's actually a really good grappler too. He had some good scrambles.
Good takedown defense.
Yeah, he also had some good scrambles. Let me see. His last couple fights.
There was Song Yadong, there was Marab, there was Aljamain, and then O'Malley.
I mean, I thought he beat O'Malley, but that's an argument for another day. Gosh, this is a tough fight to pick. I think that both men have a case to win this fight for sure. Just the thing is like, obviously Deiveson's looked really good, but this is definitely his toughest test since Brandon Moreno. I think that the more interesting thing that'll come out of this is if Deiveson does win, do you think he should get a title shot next? Do you think he'd be the best number 1 contender in the weight class?
I think the UFC has its agenda of wanting Umar Nurmagomedov to fight for a title, so he'll probably force Figgy to fight Umar for a number 1 contenders fight.
I love that fight. I really like Petr Yan. I want to pick him in this spot. I think that there was a point where we kind of thought that like Deiveson would look bad at bantamweight coming off of those wars with Brandon Moreno, but he's just been blowing through the division with flying colors. And if Petr Yan loses this fight, he'll be 1-4 in his last 5. Crazy.
Only to the best.
Definitely a high stakes main event here. I think the striking of Petr Yan is better than Deiveson, but Deiveson obviously is a very dangerous grappler. And we've seen Yan get blanketed by Aljo and Merab.
I don't know about Merab, but Aljo, that's definitely true.
I don't know if Deiveson can do that to him. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Unless your name's fucking Cody Garbrandt.
Right. I mean, I feel like if they fought 10 times, I feel like it's a 50-50 fight, man. I really do.
Do you remember that fight he had with Joseph Benavidez where he put him out cold in the rematch?
God, that was so bad.
He woke up screaming.
Yeah, and he headbutted him too.
Jesus.
A bunch of times to cut him. That was a crazy fight. I remember Megan O'Leary was kneeling by the cage, consoling her husband.
That sucked. Fuck.
Yeah, I'm kind of stalling on a pick here. Again, it's 50-50 fight, man. Give me Petr Yan. Decision.
Based pick from the Idaho Skatesman. And I am going with Petr Yan by decision as well. There you go. Petr Yan was able to stuff the takedowns of Merab several, and I mean several times in their fight in the Apex. Looking back at Merab's title fight with O'Malley, Yan's takedown defense has aged like a fine wine. That's why I think this is a great matchup for him. He's not Cody Garbrandt, so he's not going to leave his neck or his back open, his booty or his crack open for Merab to take. No diddy. And he won't get submitted by Figgy. So if Figgy can't get the takedowns, this fight is decided on the feet. And I know who I'm picking there over 5 rounds. Yan will have a bad first few couple of rounds, and then classic Yan fashion, come back as the fight goes by, reading whatever Figgy has in store for him on the feet and just slowly picking him apart as the fight goes on for a unanimous or split decision win. Classic Petr Yan. Cheer! Hey, guys, I bet, guys. So.
I love Petr Yan, dude. This is a close fight, man. I love this main event. You know it's going to be a banger. And shout out to the UFC for doing more flyweight main events.
This is bantamweight main event.
Oh, bantamweight, smaller weight class main events.
Either way, yeah. Do you remember when he was making weight? He made weight for the Aljamain Sterling rematch, and John Anik was like 135 for the challenger, and he literally went little scream after he was done. Oh man, it's so funny. Yan versus Fig seems like it should be close to a pick'em fight. Being plus 240 is crazy. Fig being plus 240 is crazy to me, so I have to go with the dog. Yan has also never been finished. I like Fig and round 3 to start for a big payday. Good for you, Chris. I mean, that's definitely a good underdog to pick. I agree with that. But I'm going with Yan all day, baby.
Well, there you go.
Yes, sir. Great fight night. Fantastic fight night. And I don't even care about the time. In fact, I think it'll get me prepared for the Inoue fight that's coming up next month. So it's good that I watch some more late night Asian combat sports cards. So looking forward to it.
Yeah, I don't know if I'm going to watch this one live.
You're not?
I don't think I can.
I don't blame you. Yeah, you're on your trip. You got things to do, places to go, people to see. So I don't blame you. But Hank the Tank will still be doing his fight companion for UFC Macau. And I'm going to have you fucking guys in here to watch, and we're going to get some new fucking fans for this time zone, you guys.
Good shit.
Let's go.
Love it. All right, man. Well, I have nothing else to say. What about you?
I got nothing else to say because Friday is my break day. So I'm going to be enjoying my Friday. Look out for a little community post I might do on Friday because I still like to edit and put together jokes when I'm not doing videos. Look out for that. And then we got Hank the Tank's crash out fight. Dude, you can't blame me for crashing out this time. Okay.
I can.
Okay. Well,
you have no excuse.
I have zero excuses, especially when the Skatesman is around to derail. But I will be doing my fight companion stream, and it's going to be a real good time, guys. If Hank doesn't fall asleep face first during it, before you guys,
Loner Kavanagh by knockout.
Yes, sir. The only way to be, man. Only way to be. So, yeah, look forward to Hank the Tank's crash out.
Yeah, hopefully you don't fall asleep.
Yeah. Well, I'd rather wipe myself out than crash out, to be honest. But better.
We'll see. Maybe I could hop in at some point, but
sure, sounds good.
Undetermined.
Yeah. That's it for
All right,
me.
man.
Yeah.
All right, man. Lead us out.
I'm gonna lead us out. You have escaped the war zone for now. Now listen, guys. I only watched 10 minutes of Howl's Moving Castle. Okay, I didn't watch it all the way through. I didn't like the story. It creeped me out. So don't tell me I'm a weeb. I'm not a weeb. I went to college.